Hey everybody, welcome on into today. It's Friday and I am ready to craft with you guys. How about Sunflower Week over in Craft on the Clock group this week? Has it not been amazing? I have loved so many of the projects that have been going on over there. If you have missed it, you have missed something really cool. Sunflower theme all week long, and it was a hit. You guys love the sunflowers, that is for sure. And so I am wrapping up the week, bringing in the caboose here, bringing in a fun sunflower project for you guys this afternoon. Excuse me, I'm probably going to get choked up. I'm going to need to grab my water. Anyway, I've been outside. I'm probably like sweating bullets here. I might have to call for backup. Hey, Gracie, can you bring me a water, please? Whew, it is hot. Hot here in Kentucky, you guys. Hey, Miss Shayna and Veronica and Debbie. Thank you all for hopping on. Hey, Mary. Thank you. Oh. Sorry, if I don't, I might still cough all the way through. Wouldn't you know, as soon as I hit the live button, I start coughing. Crazy. Went outside and got all hot, and now I'm like, whew, I forgot at the last minute. I'm like, oh, I forgot to cut something. You guys know what we're going to do today? Something with sunflowers, right? How fun, and have you loved this week? I'm so glad to know. I'm so glad. It has been a wonderful week with lots and lots of different ideas. Just a variety of different things from in all different styles, from floral design to decoupage to painting. We had some glass painting. Oh my goodness, fabric flowers. It has been a really cool week, I will tell you. I've been amazed by everything that I've seen. I hope you all have enjoyed it as well. So I'm using something today that is kind of unique, and I kind of had this idea on my mind for a while. I've kind of seen the project idea on Pinterest, so it's not my original idea. You know how as creators do, we kind of pull together all kinds of ideas. Hello, Patty. Hello, Michelle. By the way, if you are new to my page, I am so sorry. Let me introduce myself. Welcome to My Sweet Home Living. My name is Tracey Campbell. We are being broadcasted here not only on My Sweet Home Living, but also into the Craft on the Clock group. And this video will also be uploaded later to the YouTube channel for My Sweet Home Living. So check us out in all the places or find us wherever it's convenient for you. We're so excited you're here no matter where you're at. We are using something pretty cool. I'm using lots of different things that I have seen kind of all over. You know, as creators, we pull ideas from all over and then we kind of jumble it up. You know, we think about it for a while and then we kind of do our own thing with it. Well, that's what I'm doing today. Thank you, Miss Shayna. I would love those hearts and sprinkles. It has been a great week, Cynthia. You're right. We are using, you know what these are, right? Not just garden stakes, but tobacco sticks. Tobacco sticks today, you guys. I'm so excited for this project because it's something that you can use across the seasons, and it's something that you can change out. You guys know that I'm all about like having things that's reusable across the seasons, right? So that's what today's project is going to be as well. Fair warning, I have never made this project today. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I do have a plan. So we're going to hopefully it'll all go as planned up here. Then we can put it out in form here. We'll see. You all hang with me all the way to the end. I'm going to show you how to put all of these pieces together to make one cute sunflower arrangement using tobacco sticks. We're going to use some muslin fabric today, and we may even tie in a tobacco basket at the end. I don't know. I may have cut my sticks too long to fit, but we'll see. It's going to turn out so cute. It's going to turn out so cute. Thank you, Miss Mary, for sprinkling. I appreciate you, friend. All right, so let's hop to it. I am starting with a printable, and I was going to see if it would let me put my printable link in there. Let's see if it will. Yeah, maybe so. Oh, well, my link is not copied anymore. Okay, anyway, I have a printable found on Etsy, but you guys can make your own. You could use whatever you have, right? You don't even have to use this. I printed this off. This is from an Etsy shop designer. Chocolate Rabbit is the name of the shop. How cool is that? Chocolate Rabbit. And they have lots of cool vintage themed printables, right? It was like a brownish, tarnished, grunged up look to it. Well, my printer, my printer's like low on ink. So when I printed it out the first time, it was like blue, yellow, like all kinds of weird, wacky colors. I was like, okay, plan B. I'm just going to print it out in black and white. So here it is in black and white. Let me show you what I did to make it, grungy. Hey, Miss Denise, I'm so glad you are on here with me live as well. Thank you for hopping on. So this is what I did. I have not cut it out yet, okay? I wanted to kind of show you a before and after. So here's the original black and white. If you don't have a color printer, if you just want to print it out black and white, here's what I have done to grunge it up now. Granted, ignore the white around here. We're going to cut this out in just a minute, but I wanted to show you real up close. Look how grungy that is. Look at the colors in comparison to the black and white. Now, if you like the black and white, that's totally your thing. That's, cool too. Hey, Miss Tammy. Yes, you're right. TGIF. You got it, girl. You got it. So glad for holiday weekend, by the way, and happy Canada Day. I'll set it out in a minute for all of our Canadian creators and friends here. And then happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day weekend here in America, or no matter where you are in the world, happy weekend. It's everybody's weekend no matter what. You have Blood Sunflower Week, Elaine. I'm so glad to hear that. So, by the way, if you don't have a home printer at home, you want to end up doing a project similar to this, I'm going to be mailing out some of these printables that I have grunged up for you, okay? So if you don't have I'm going to show you how I grunged this up. I felt like I had something crawling on my hand. Ew, EBGBs. If you don't have the supplies to do this, I'm going to be mailing out 5 of these today. So I have my timer set here, and when the timer goes off, I'll look to see whoever the last comment that popped up as the timer goes off, and we will do that periodically through today's broadcast, okay? So 5 times, and when that timer goes off, I still feel like something's crawling on me. It could be. All right, so here's what I did to get this printable looking so grungy, you guys. You guys know that I love these distressed oxides, right? I love these things. It takes the hard work and makes it so easy. So what I've done, let me tilt my camera down so you can see it. Hey, Miss Karen. We're just getting started. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I can't wait to show you how it's all going to go together. I have been, perfect, Diane. I have been thinking about this project for like weeks and thinking, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Well, I was originally going to do it with pumpkins, and we still will eventually. But when it was Sunflower Week, I said, hey, I can do that same project with sunflowers, and I've just been dwelling on it all week long. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Thank you, Marla. Like my shirt. What you going to do with all that junk? We love junking around here. Oh, my goodness. So I'm just using a makeup brush, and I'm using my favorite color. This one is called Vintage Photo. If you want to take a snapshot of that, you sure can. And it comes in lots of different colors, but this is my go-to color that I use a lot for this kind of thing. Yes, that would be great. Yes, a printer to print with rice paper on. You're right. This is just printed on standard, just standard printer paper. I'll spit it out here. Copy paper. So nothing fancy at all. And I'm just taking it and I'm rubbing it on my pad, and I'm going around the edges first, okay? Now, if you can print this off in color, you can totally skip this step, okay? But I like this rusty-ish color, and so that's why I'm going with this. And my printer was out of ink, so we're just improvising and going with what we have. So I thought, well, you know what? If I have this problem, there are probably many other creatives in this world that will probably end up having the same problem that I do. So why hide it? Let's just get it all out there, and let's find a solution, right? Oh, thank you, Miss Denise. So excited you're here today. It is Friday. I'm so excited. So excited. And by the way, I do have a timer set. I'm going to be mailing out 5 of these grunged up little printables to you guys. if you would like to recreate this project on your own, don't have a printer, or don't have the supplies to kind of grunge this up like I am doing today, make sure that you're commenting, and when that timer goes off, the name that I see when the timer goes off will get their name put in the drawing. Okay? Not a drawing. You will get one. And there's no drawing to it. I will just write your name down and we will mail it out. The good thing about printables, they're lightweight. They don't cost a lot to ship. So that is the perfect win-win for everybody here. Okay, so you see this kind of coming to life already, right? Okay, I have left the center a little bit lighter. I am going to go over the center of this sunflower just a tiny bit with my color. And guess what? There's not anything you have to worry about staying in the lines on this, okay? So forgiving. Now, this is just the very beginning step of this, you guys. Where's my spray? Where's my spray? Where's my spray? Let's get these tobacco sticks out of the way for just a second. We're going to use these tobacco sticks. So if you're just hopping on and you missed the beginning, we're going to be using these in just a little bit. It has vanished, grown legs, and walked away, I do believe. Oh, right here in front of me. Okay, so now this is the same thing, you guys. Distress Oxide comes in like an ink pad form and like a spray. Okay, it's the same color. This is Vintage Photo and this is Vintage Photo color. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz this, but before I do, I am going to have just a little baby wipe handy. Okay, little baby wipe handy. Awesome! I have my timer set. You guys just keep on commenting and it'll be going off shortly. All right, I'm just spraying that and going real quick, going over this with a wet wipe. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is looking like leather. Honestly, it's looking like a piece of leather that's been printed on. I take that wet wipe. This Distress Oxide is water reactivated. So if you get something on there too heavy, you can kind of re-wet it and dab it up with a dry paper towel, or use a wet wipe and kind of, smear it out to where it's not super blotchy. Or if you want it blotchy, water moisture helps get the look you're going for. Okay? You would have never. Oh, good, Diane. So here's what we have so far. It's getting there. Did you guys saw the before and after, right? Okay, I'm still hanging on to this wet baby wipe. Now, this one, I'm going to use another color that I have. This is the actual ink pad. There's oxides and there's inks. You can use either one, okay? You really can. Oxides are a little bit more smearable, okay? A little bit more creamier in texture, and they smear a little easier. Inks don't smear quite as easy, and they dry a lot faster, and they don't smear quite as well. You can't go wrong with either one, okay? So now this color is called Wild Honey, and it's a little mini one. I don't use yellow a whole lot, so this is just a little mini one. I'm going to take the tip of my wet wipe. Thank you, Miss Mary. Vacation begins today. Yay! You're right, Maria. So I'm going to take the tip of this, okay? And I'm just going to dab it around on this little ink pad here, okay? It's yellow. So now what I'm going to do... I'm going to take the tip of this and I'm just going to go over the little petals, the little flower petals on my sunflower. It's not going to be anything really like popping out saying, hey, right? It's just that subtle, worn, vintage look. So let me dab this on and I'm going to show you what it looks like. And I'm going kind of fast here, okay? Because I don't want to keep you guys all day on this one step of this project. It's going to be amazing. Okay. Now, my wet wipe is wet. It's damp, right? So it is going to dampen your paper. So just keep that in mind and be careful as you're working with it. You don't want to oversaturate your paper and then tear a hole in it. Okay. So starting to see a little bit of the yellow on there, right? Perfect. Let's hit it with just a little bit of a dry real quick. This paper's super thin, this dryer's super quiet and super hot, so it's not going to take very long at all for it to dry. So then what I'm going to do, I have another color here. This may have been the color I used a second ago. I think it was. I have two colors are really similar. This one is called Gathered Twigs, and this one's called Vintage Photo. The Vintage Photo just has a little bit more of a rust color. The Gathered Twig I consider a little bit more brownish in tone. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of this Gathered Twig color and go over the center of my sunflower just so that it's a little bit darker. in the center. And I'm going to take this same wet wipe and I'm going to use another little corner point and get a little bit of a blackish color. This is called black soot, okay? Comes in tons of different colors. And I'm just going over this really faint with my wet wipe and a little bit of that ink just to slightly darken it. And voila, we're finished. Easy as that, okay? I use these things on so many things. So I'm kind of particular about buying things. If I don't feel like I'm going to use it for something, you know, for more than one project, I'm always a little hesitant to buy things. So I can tell you that I use those things all the time. And so we took just a plain basic white printable and we have jazzed it up and made it look really grungy and rusty, right? So we're going to let that dry. Now I have one that I've already prepared. And we are going to get just a little bit of a paintbrush here. I need a real narrow little paintbrush. We are going to tear the edges of this because I want it to look like a vintage label. And we know vintage labels. Where are all my paintbrushes? They're all in the bottom, I guess. I'm going to use a little bit of my water here. I'm going to pour it in the cap. I just need a tiny bit of water on this paintbrush. And I'm going to dampen the edges. You guys have seen probably creators do this a lot. I'm just going to dampen the edge. And that will help me to feather tear the edge of this label. I want it to have like a real irregular tear. And this will kind of help that paper separate and give us that look, hopefully. Fingers crossed. All right, so I'm just wetting the edges and then we're going to go through and see if we can rip that out. Make sure you're commenting for a chance to get one of these printables mailed to you, okay? The timer will be going off so soon. We're going to be giving away 5 of these today. All right, so I'm just going to rip. Do you see how that's coming along right there? That's exactly what I wanted it to do. Exactly what I wanted it to do. I want it to be real irregular. Karen Tesser Weinberg. That's right. You are going to get our first set or our first printable mail to you. So what I need you to do is send me a message with your mailing address, okay? And I will mail one of these out that's already been grunged up for you, taking all the grungy work out of it. So I will just mail this, pop it right in the mail or straight to you. So send me your mailing address. That was Karen. I said Karen Tesser Weinberg. Awesome. All right, resetting the timer. We got 5 to give away, so we're going to keep on tracking here. All right, I love this. All right, isn't that cool? Love those worn edges. Worn. They're worn. That's what I should say. All right, the next thing we're going to do. This is probably not the piece I want. We are going to use a little piece of burlap, okay? And what I'm going to do with this, we are going to Mod Podge it right on this burlap, okay? I want this to look like, sort of like a grain sack in a way. All right, I'm going to trim this down. Now this piece of burlap has been kind of tucked away in my stash and it's kind of wrinkled up. But I think that's okay. I forgot to get some paper spread out here on my work surface. Boy, I'm telling you, I thought I was sort of prepared today. All right, so what I'm going to do before I do this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some of these little fiber strings off the edge. And because I like that frayed edge look, okay, I want those. See how I've done that? Probably need to take a little bit more off right there because I didn't cut it quite even. But you get the idea. I like that look. Thank you, Mandy. Tea or coffee works. Yes, you're right. You're right. But if you're not doing a whole lot, I don't like to mix up a whole lot of coffee for something small. And to me, I think it just takes longer because I don't know. I mean, you might have a quick method to do it. I already have these, and so it's so easy for me to just kind of pull my stuff out. It's just one less step that I have to do, honestly. One less thing that I have to prepare in my mind. That's the way I'm thinking about it. I am going to need to call for my backup assistant again. She's gonna like, I can hear her now. Hey, Gray. I need you to get me the box of, just give me the box of wax paper that's in the top of that closet right there. Huh? Right there. Right there. The pantry closet. Yeah. I need something because I didn't bring anything else to put down. I don't want paint to get all over my table here. All right, so we're going to use Mod Podge for this. We're watching. You like this look? I do too. I just love this stuff. Yes, we are going to take this label. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Let me just spread a little bit. Ouch. Ugh. Okay. This way, I don't have a whole big mess here to clear up. I don't need this anymore. I thought I might use a piece of decoupage paper, but we're not going to use that. Okay. Let's flip this over because it's wanting to curl up. Move some stuff out of the way. Okay. We're going to take this burlap and we're going to Mod Podge this little label on. So, if you've never done this, it's super easy, you guys. You know what? This piece of burlap is like wrinkling up on me and it's driving me bonkers. I'm just going to wet it a little bit and see if that helps. It will eventually flatten, but for now, it's just kind of driving me bonkers. I'm going to put, just go over this a little bit with some Mod Podge just to kind of dampen it up, get it wet, so it'll. And there's really no wrong way to do this. So however you can get it to stick is perfect. You know, there's no right or wrong way to do it. All right, so I've got that on. Okay. Now, fair warning, it is going to come out the back, so you don't want to leave it sitting too long because and when it starts to dry, it will stick to whatever surface you have it on. So I'm just going to go over the top with Mod Podge now, and I'm going to just to kind of dabble it, okay? Now, just dabbing it, hopefully, once this paper starts to soak in this Mod Podge, yeah, there we go. It will start to kind of set down into the grooves of this burlap, and you'll kind of start to see that it almost looks like it could have been printed on the burlap because you'll start to see the fibers of that burlap kind of sticking through. This corner is wanting to pull up on me, so I'm going to put just a little bit right there and see if that helps. Otherwise, I'm just going to dab it down, and then I'm just going to leave it alone for a little bit, okay? Dab it and leave it alone to dry while we move on to the next step. Okay. Although, make sure you pull that up because the back side has Mod Podge. Let's let this dry. I can hit it with a little bit of heat just for a minute. I probably could spend a little bit more time dabbing it to get that paper smushed down in the grooves. Hey, Miss Gretchen. Hey, Miss Gloria. You liking it? Hey, Miss Debbie and Nellie. You liking it so far? I think it's going to look so cool. So cool. That timer is still ticking, you guys. So, we will have another, we will pull another name as soon as that timer goes off for another mailed out printable, okay? Now, here's my next piece that I'm going to use, and you guys are going to see this and you're going to be like, what is she doing? What is she going to do? Okay, so let's turn this over because I have Mod Podge right there. All right, so I have, you guys know that these cute little muslin gift bags that you see like at the Dollar General or at places like this during, you know, the holidays. It's a little gift bag, okay? We're not going to use it for a gift bag. I'm going to use the back side. I'm going to use the back side for this, and I am going to cut out the drawstring, okay? Super easy, right? None of this is hard, you guys. None of it. Okay, so let me pull this out because I don't want that red string to show for sure. That is not the color we're going for. All right, so I'm going to fold this over just a tiny bit, and you can kind of see it already kind of has a little seam that is on there. Let me turn it around so I can see. It looks crooked on, want to get it even here. All right, so still a little crooked. Let's straighten this up a little bit. I kind of want a little cuff to hang over, right? Now, what we're gonna do next, I should have brought my spray bottle, you guys. That's what I should have done. I'm just gonna dampen this up a little bit. You know what? We can make this work. As long as I have a little bit of water to sip on if I start coughing. I'm just going to use my water bottle. I'm going to dampen this up a little bit because what it does is it kind of breaks down that stiffness a little bit. I want this to kind of be flimsy for this project. Okay, I don't want it to have that new store stiffness look to it, okay? So I'm going to wet it down a little bit, and then I'm just going to kind of roll it up. You could probably pre-wash this and it would probably work, okay? I just didn't think to do that. So I'm just wetting it and wrinkling it up with my hands, okay? Hey, Miss Pat, how are you? Okay, so now I'm going to take my spray. I need my little makeup brush, and where is my little, we're going to grunge this bag up, okay? We know we got to do that. Got to grunge it up. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of spray. Love this stuff, you guys, but make sure you have something under it. This is so like instant gratification. I can't even explain it. I do want to go over the edges to make sure that I get that look we're going for. And then I'm going to turn around and look. Is that, I mean, it looks like we've coffee stained it or cinnamon. Yeah, like in 2 seconds flat, right? I don't even think I'm going to need my makeup brush now. So all I'm going to do, if I have some blotches that are a little too strong or didn't get coated enough, like under right there, I'm going to take my little wet wipe and I'm just going to kind of spread some of it out, okay? I don't want any like white spots. Now, I'm okay with inconsistency in color. I like the blotchiness because that makes it look authentic. But I don't want any totally white spots. I don't want anybody to be able to look at this and say, ooh, she bought that. She bought it. She bought it brand new. Okay, let's just spray this a little bit. I am going to spray the inside edge because this might be rolled over, and I want to make sure that, okay, let's do a little bit of cleanup here real quick. It's so much easier, you guys. I cannot tell you how amazing that spray is. Now, like, the oxides have always been my favorite, but like now that I have been doing lots of things with like fabric lately, I'm like all about that spray stain. Although I would suggest that you wear gloves. Although this is water reactivated, I can go and wash my hands and this will come off. I'm just in too big of a hurry and speeding along. And kind of made a mess here. Okay, that's okay. It's going to be worth it. Now, see what we have. See what we have, and you saw what we started with. We started with a bag. That's the back side, which is already grunged up, so we can use this for Christmas too. So let's give this a real quick dry. It won't take very long because this is super thin. Okay. Yes, let me show you. I can do two things at once, right? So you guys know, oh, my nose is tickly. These are the distress oxides that I use a lot of times with the little makeup brush, and that's what I used on the paper. You saw me use that. Where'd that little printable paper go? I tossed it over. On this, if you missed the beginning, we took this black and white printout and we grunged it up, okay? Using this and a little bit of the spray. Now the spray is the same brand. It's Tim Holtz Ranger Distressed Oxide, okay? Distressed Oxide comes in like an ink pad version, comes in a Distressed Oxide spray, okay? This color comes in lots of different colors. This particular color that I use for this is called Vintage Photo, okay? There are several that are similar. That's just, our timer goes off, and Miss Mary now, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct. She is the winner of our second little grunged up printable. So Mary, private message me your mailing address and I'll get one shipped out to you. Okay? All right, so let's set another timer because that's 2. We have 3 more to go. Oh. Ooh. This is a brand new timer, you guys, and I'm like messing it all up. Okay, here we go. Timer is set. So the last one that's commented, when the timer goes off, we'll get another one of those. Okay? Here, I know. Listen, our friend Tracey from Scrappy's Rustics, she is here on Facebook. If you all aren't familiar with her yet, I encourage you to check her out. She has a lot of these distress oxide products in her shop. Okay, online shop. Scrappysrustics.com. You all check her out because I always love to support local small business owners before I do big box stores. Yay, Miss Mary. Yes. Thank you, Miss Deborah from Splash of Paint. Hey, Miss Tony. All right, so we're going to kind of let this continue to dry because we have more steps to go, you guys. So I'm going to kind of lay this over to the side and actually, you know what I'm going to do? I have a little jar of instant coffee. I'm just going to sit over like that and kind of let it air dry for a little bit while we move on to the next step. Okay, let's do a little bit of cleanup control here on aisle 7 real quick. Let's roll this up because we're going to need to spread out a new layer of paper here. Another step here to this amazing project. I can't wait for it to all come together. Okay, toss that right there. Where'd my material go? Oh, whew. I was like, oh my gosh. All right, the next thing we're going to need here, we are going to use some muslin material, you guys. Muslin material. And we are going to create some fabric sunflowers. All right. So I just have a basic circle shape here. Anything that fits the size that you want. Hey, Miss Mara, how are you? It does. It works on wood. It works on paper. It works on fabric, material. I mean, like all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Like you can use it on all kinds of materials. So I just have a basic circle shape that I know that I think will be the right size for what I'm looking for. And I'm just going to trace me out a circle on my fabric here. I love using muslin. I don't know, I've been on a big muslin kick lately. It's just, you know, that good natural color, and it's inexpensive. By the way, it is like 40% off at Hobby Lobby this week. If you need to get some, it's the perfect time to get it. But it just has like a good like texture to it. So like I can use like the fabric hot glue and glue things together, and it doesn't, you know, the hot glue doesn't seep through, which I love that. Love that. So what I'm going to do here, maybe if I can get it cut apart, I'm going to make 3 of these. Now, I may do more than that eventually. I need a little bit bigger circle than this. This is almost too small. Now that I'm thinking about what I'm going to do, we'll roll with it. Actually, I got another idea that we'll do. So let's keep going. Let's cut out one more of these big ones. And I'll for sure show you how to at least do 1 flower today, maybe 2. But I think the magic number is going to be a 3. I think 3 sunflowers is going to be what you'll want, you know, to have a good finished look. But we'll speed through this and at least do 1 and show you what to do with these. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out these circles really quick. I'm not worried about perfection when it comes to, you know, jagged lines or anything like that, because it's going to be a very forgiving project, and you'll see exactly what I mean in just a little bit. Y'all look at my fingers. It will come off with soap and water, I promise, but right now it looks like I have been like, I don't even know what it looks like. Okay, 1 is out, and then what I'm going to do, yes, I have some paint, just some basic acrylic paint, and I will pull it out in just a little bit. We're going to use these to make our fabric sunflowers, okay? And this is a ginormous project, you guys. Although it's not hard, it's just some steps to it. So if you have a good afternoon, you know, set aside some time and do this, or you can do it in phases, okay? So like you could do your flowers one day, you could do your paper, like your Mod Podge and Grunging one day, you can do your wood, your tobacco sticks in one day, and then put it all together in another, okay? I was actually going to try to do this live this morning for my time slot on Craft on the Clock, and our time slots are 45 minutes, and then the more I got to thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gracious, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that in 45 minutes. Like, I mean, I could, but you guys wouldn't get a good idea of how to, how to create the pieces. I could put it all together for you, but you wouldn't know how I actually went through each step, to create all the pieces. Our timer is still going, you guys. Our timer is still going. So if you want one of these grunged up printables, we have 3 more that are going out in Happy Mail. So make sure that you are commenting, and when that timer goes off, you will be the recipient. There it is. Oh my goodness, it's Karen Tesser Weinberg again, but the one right before her was Diane O'Neill Norris. So Diane O'Neill Norris. Karen won our very first one. So Diane, message me your address and let me know that you are receiving the Grungy Sunflower Printable. Okay, actually it's already going to be printed and grunged for you. Okay, so the timer is going to be set again. We have 2 more to give away. There we go. There we go. Where do you, oh my goodness, Karen, I know that you can buy them like from people on Marketplace, but now sometimes, people want, they're wood. What's not wood these days that's, not expensive? What is wood that's not expensive these days, I should say? I grabbed these from my family barn. The barn on the farm, we've got lots of barns that have been sitting for years. Now, my grandfather, he is in his early 90s, and back in the day, he was a tobacco farmer, and his grandparents, raised tobacco on their farm here in Kentucky, and so tobacco was a true way of life for lots of rural families in Kentucky. And so in one of the barns there on the farm, I was looking for some tobacco. There's got to be some, I know lots of them they've given away to neighbors who still farm or whatever, or some of them that, they've kind of pitched out or used over the years and they've just been thrown out. So I went to the barn this week and I thought, I know there's got to be some tobacco sticks tucked away somewhere in the dust, in the barn dust, right? So sure enough, I found some and I have cut them down to size. So I'm going to put all 4 of these little circles together. And then I think what I'm going to do, just as reference, I have a little circle here. I'm just going to put this in the center of those and kind of use that as my center point. I'm going to go through and make some, it's too thick for my scissors, so I'm going to have to do 2 at a time. I went through and found some tobacco sticks just for today's project. I was so excited. I did have to clean them out, but I was thinking, how long have these tobacco sticks probably been sitting in this barn? What kind of story can these tobacco sticks, what kind of stories do they have to tell? They've been sitting in that barn, could be for 50 years or so, maybe more. Let's see, I'm 40, so I know they have not raised tobacco as long as, I don't think they were raising tobacco when I was young. So it was probably definitely before I was born. So I'm gonna say probably 60 years. Some of these tobacco sticks could be 60 years old. But they already have that amazing worn patina to them. You don't have to stain them. And so let me scroll down. My comments stopped. If they could only talk, I know, if they could only talk, if they could only tell the stories, because, farming was a way of living. It was the way of life. And I love the fact that, you know, the farmland is still in our family. And it's just a special treasure. You know, some people may look at a barn that, you know, that's covered in dust and half falling over and think, you know, that's just a pile of junk. But you know what? You know, junk tells stories, you know. It's all about, you know, beauty, and stories are in the eye of the beholder, you know. So think about that, you know, when you hear people talking about junk, and you know, that's why it's so hard for, you know, so many of us, you know, we may think, you know, we're super materialistic when it comes to hanging on to things, you know, but like there's so many things that have special meaning, you know, and just bring back memories and their connection to the past, you know. And so I think, you know, I think anytime I see an old barn being torn down, my heart breaks a little, because, you know, I think, oh my goodness, you know, what stories could those barns tell, you know, that are gone, you know, when they're torn down, they're gone. Okay, so let me move on, because I'm gonna tear up on you guys. Tear up on you guys. I know, Denise. So I have some paint. I don't know what color I'm going to use. I grabbed these at Hobby Lobby because I wanted like a good primitive yellowish gold. And so this one is Americana. It's Deco Art Americana, and it's called Golden Straw. Okay, you guys really don't look at my grungy fingers there. Golden Straw, and that's what color it looks like. Ooh, let's go this way. It's like a grungy yellow. Kind of looks like a pastel mustard almost. And then this one is Folk Art, and it's called Golden Ochre. I don't know how you would say that. It's just a good grungy yellow too, primitive look. And it does look a little bit more like mustard. So I'm going to kind of mix the two, you guys. And I am going to dampen my fabric. Because I don't want it to soak up so much paint. You have a barn on your I'm telling you guys, you know, things get covered in the barn dust and forgotten, because, you know, lives and way of living have changed, and we still do have lots of tobacco farmers, you know, in our part of Kentucky, but not nearly like, you know, there were years ago, because of things have changed, you know, and for good and bad, you know, for obvious reasons, you know, that cuts back on smoking and tobacco use, obviously, you know, but there's that other perspective of it that, you know, was just a way of life that so many families, especially here in Kentucky, knew. So I have wet that down, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit, tilt my camera down just a little bit more. It's muslin fabric is what this is. Now you could totally use a drop cloth with this same idea, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my paintbrush and just go right over this, you guys. But I love this material. It's so like durable, and I don't know, it just has good structure to it. And I love it, and I've been wanting to do this for so long. We have a creator in Craft on the Clock. Her name is Kim Jennings, and her page is called Tattered Designs. Oh, there's our timer. Andrea, you're our next name. And so message me, and we'll get that mailed out to you. But she makes these sunflowers, and with similar. And so when I saw her make these, I thought, I'm going to do the same thing. It was a good idea. But you all check her out. She does lots of vintage, rustic style, you know, projects. Very similar. I love her style with how she does things. So you guys check her out. She gave me the idea behind these little sunflowers. Okay, this is taking a little bit longer than I expected, so we will probably stop with one flower, and you guys can kind of see the idea and go with it, okay? All right, now this is We're going to let this dry. I did do both sides because I don't know, you know, these little petals are probably going to flop over time. Okay, it looks really bright and bold on camera. It's not that bright, I promise. Not as bright on camera as it is in person. So let's hit this with a little bit of dryer, and then we can grunge it up and kind of make it look a little bit old, right? Evident. Good, Miss Glow. Yes, her page name is Tattered Designs, and her name is Kimberly Jennings. She does some really cute projects. I'm getting paint all over the place. Let's set that little thing right there. All right, and let's do a little bit of cleanup. No, Miss Diane, we are finished today, so I am bringing up the caboose today. So there's no one else following me today, so we don't have to stick to 45 minutes, and that's kind of why I stuck to the very end time slot today, because I knew this was going to take longer than 45 minutes today. All right, so let's reset this timer. Ooh. There we go. We have one more to give away. So the comment, yes, it will dry a little stiff, and if it doesn't dry stiff enough for you, you can put a little bit of Mod Podge in it, and it will stiffen up a little bit more. And that's probably what I will do after it dries. I will go over it with a layer of Mod Podge and then let it dry flat. Or you could do liquid starch as well and let it dry flat. So that's what you can do to get that stiff texture to those flowers. All right, let's let this kind of continue to dry a little bit. And while we're doing that, I have one of these other little circles here. Let's cut it down just a little bit, and this was going to be for our center. I'm just eyeballing it. Just eyeballing it here. I'm cutting about a 1/2 inch off of the round here. Okay, there we go. Now, while this is drying, I'm going to take this yummy stuff right here, okay? Spritz this down. I need to wet it. Gosh dog it. Wet it. Wet it down. Did you guys see how that kind of spread that color out? That's what I was telling you. That the spray and the oxides it's water activated, so it's amazing in that sense. It's kind of forgiving. All right, there we go. Spritz that down. All right. And then this can dry kind of at the same time, but see how easy that was? Like 2 spritz. Let that dry. I'm making a big mess, you guys. Big mess. All right. Let this dry a little bit. That one, the yellow is just about dry. The brown needs just a little bit more. All right. I know one thing I forgot. That's okay though. Glue gun. Let's get the glue gun out. And let's see if we can't go ahead and tie this up together a little bit. Still a little bit wet. I don't have a little brush, so I'm going to use a little bit of this black just to kind of go around the edges a little bit, maybe. It's not very forgiving. I can use a little bit of the wet wipe. That's what I need to do. Wet wipes are my friend. I need not to forget that. I'm going to go around the edges a little bit. Okay. And because sunflowers kind of have that depth of darkness around the edges anyway, and this will kind of give us a little bit of depth to what we're making here. Okay. let that dry for a second. I know something else I forgot. Okay, I forgot my little polyfill bag, my little cotton stuffing. So we're going to use these little scrap pieces as our stuffing, you guys. All right, this is dry, I think. All right, let's use a little bit of this to grunge up this sunflower real quick. Except I want a little bit of color differences in these petals here. All right, trying to speed this along. Let's cover this black up before I make a mess. Okay. Yeah, these flowers could be a one day project on their own. Okay, I tried not to go too heavy, but then I wasn't getting much color, so I had to go a little bit darker. All right, I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. Oh, there's our last name. Cynthia Ritchie. What kind of fabric? This is muslin. So Cynthia, you get the last. So you need to message me so I'll know where that I can mail that to you at. Okay? Yes, it is muslin. You could use a drop cloth. Lots of people use drop cloth these days. So here we go. This is what we have. This is going to be our center. I'm going to start attaching this in the center. This is going to be our little center of the sunflower. My little glue gun is stopped up. This little glue gun does that. We're going to get this attached. And then as I go around, this is what Kim does too. I've seen her do this. She kind of takes the material and she kind of tucks it and puckers it, I guess, pleats it, for the lack of better terms. Pleats it, bunches it up, scrunches it up, however you want to word it. She scrunches it up and makes this little bubble sort of on the top of her flower. And then she goes in and fills it with, probably like cotton stuffing, polyfill, whatever you have, that kind of thing. And since I did not bring mine, we're going to use scrap material. Okay. And puckering it kind of makes it even more forgiving, so that if it's not a perfect circle, it's okay. Now it's not super obvious because it's all kind of irregular. Okay, so I've got this all the way around. I'm going to leave the top part open, and this is where we're going to kind of stuff in some filler. Okay, and you can make this flat, puffy. I guess just make it your own, right? All right, so this is going to probably be a little much, so let me pull that out. No. Doggy fur baby's getting into stuff. Okay. Okay, almost done. Okay. Now, it's still a little bold and yellow for me. A little bold. But I'm going to go back with a little bit more of that. Oh my goodness. We got glue strings everywhere, you guys. Glue strings. All right. So I'm not going to make you guys sit through another flower of these. But you would probably want to make like up 3, 4, maybe 5, depending on how big or small you make these. And I'm going to spritz these because I kind of like that little splattered look. I don't know. Let me show you guys what it looks like right there. Okay. Now, I totally meant to have a little twig, a little branch to attach this to. Okay. So here, bear with me. We're going to move on to the next step, and let's get this folded up and put out of the way for a second. Because the next step, we're going to put together our tobacco sticks. Fold this up for right now. Out of the way. Now, these tobacco sticks, I have cut them down to what I think size-wise will work. Okay. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, tobacco sticks. I even have them numbered because I had them laid out when I started. I'm going to make what it kind of looks like is a little mini garden gate. Okay. If you're kind of familiar with like an old wooden garden gate, it's got the slats, obviously, and then I have these numbered because I kind of had them cut, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. This is number, I have two of them and it look like ones. This must be number 5, which would be on the end. No, I remember that being number 1. Okay, so 1, 3, that's 5. I don't know what that one is then. Let's pull these others out. That may have been an extra. There's 4. I'll show you how I'm going to put this together, and hopefully I have what I need here. Okay, I guess this one is number 2. It just doesn't look like a 2. All right, so I'm laying this sideways here because my table is full of stuff on this end. So I'm going to kind of work at it on the side, and you guys can kind of follow along as I go here. My short pieces. Okay, so I have 5 slats, okay? And I will hold this up for you guys in a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm working with here. This one has to be the middle because I wanted the center to be taller. Because you think of a garden gate, most of the time the center's taller and then it goes shorter and then shorter to the edges, right? Okay, now here's the thing. When you're working with these kinds of things are irregular, right? None of the sticks are going to be the same height. None of them are going to be the same thickness. So you're basically working with scraps. So you could do this same idea with probably some little scrap garden stakes that you might have. Use whatever you have. Okay, so do you see what I'm coming up with right here? All right, now what I would do, which I gotta find it, and I'm gonna take some screws, and I just hope that I have, this is what I did not plan for, is I did not have enough screws planned that are the right thickness, because these boards are all different thicknesses, you guys. So what some screws might work for one board is not going to work for another board. You see what I'm saying? And so I was having trouble finding enough screws that would work for all of them. So if you have wood glue, that's probably what I would probably use is wood glue. So let me see if, and I don't have enough of these. Oh my goodness, why isn't it coming out? These are just basic wood screws. It has to be thicker. Let me show you. It has to be long enough to go through the thickness of your wood down into the other piece. This one is good. So I have a few of those, but those are the only 2 that I have, and I need way more. This would probably work on some of my thickest pieces, although it's almost too thick. See what I mean? Okay, so we might just improvise with some hot glue as a temporary fix today, because I want you guys to see how this is going to go together, and I don't even know if my hot glue is going to hold it. And I'm looking for my other glue stick. This is the tricky part, is putting it together. Oh my goodness, where did that glue stick go, you guys? I know I just had it. It's probably right here under my nose. Hold on. Oh, I do remember sticking it in my, right here. Right here, we got it. Okay, I just want to have this one just when we're ready. So what I'm going to need to flip this over though. Let me put that out of the way here. So this is going to have to go on the bottom, because I'm going to have to put my hot glue on this back piece and then lay the wood on top, if that makes sense. Okay. We're getting this. It doesn't have to be exact. You do want to kind of do some sort of little planning if you want to sketch it out, you know, first, and then kind of make your cuts. And if you want this to be like a leaner, like a porch leaner, or like a little, it would be a big shelf sitter, but something to kind of tuck in a corner, you would obviously want to make sure that your ends, okay, this is my end, I know you guys can't see that. You would want to make sure that your ends are all level, okay? My top pieces are not going to be level, and I will show you that in just a little bit. But I do want to make sure, all right, I want to make sure and go ahead and get these pieces. This is probably not going to be a good permanent hold, but for now, for time purposes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue these slats on. Now, if you have wood glue sticks, that would be amazing. Hot glue sticks. Okay. All right, so let's glue those down. And I'm not going for anything perfectly measured, you know. Get this new glue stick on here. Okay. And these tobacco sticks are crooked and jagged, and that's what's going to give it the character anyway. So we're just going to roll with it. Let's see what we get. Worst comes to worst, we can take it all apart and do it again. This is the part that will be a little experimental as far as putting it together. Oh, my nose is tickly. I'm just going to let that sit for just a minute, make sure. And I did wash these down really good beforehand because they were dusty. They were really dusty. So I did wash them down first. Okay, so let me kind of show you what we have so far. Okay, see what we got? There we go. Oh, you can almost see the top. There, see the top? How it kind of has that little garden shape, garden gate shape to it. I have glue stringies everywhere. So I'm going to take this last little slat and I'm going to put it crossways. But see, my boards are not even even. And so I don't even think that's going to work. It would be mainly just for looks. It's not going to be for support, because my sticks are so uneven. They're just irregular. And that's just the way the tobacco sticks are. You know, they were just scrap wood pieces, honestly. Hey, Miss Maddie. Hey, Penny. Okay, let's let that hook on there. Get some glue strings off. Okay, woohoo. I didn't let that sit long enough. Let's turn it over. I really don't think that's going to stay because, like I said, this wood is so wonky. All right, let's let it sit right there for a minute while we go on, and let me show you how we're going to put this together now. All right, this little bag, it's still a little bit damp, and it's got a little bit of discoloration there, which I think could be from the red printed on this. So I'm just going to go back over it. Now this is obviously wet, okay, so you would want this to dry. All right, so I'm going to take this little string. I have some twine. We're going to figure out a way to secure this onto our board. Where'd the scissors go? Okay, and then, you know what? I'm missing all kinds of things. I had a little bag of moss too, like Spanish moss that I was going to use. I don't see it. So what I'm going to take this and I'm going to run it through the back here. And I don't know, this may or may not be the best way to attach this. So you can kind of come up probably with a better idea. And I still yet may come up with a different idea. It's kind of one of those things after you sit and look at it for a while, which I totally forgot that we've got to put our little label on here. our little sunflower label, which it's not completely dry. Okay, so let's fray off some of these. Tight bond. I do have some tight bond. It's just not going to dry real quick. But yes, that's a great idea, Michelle. All right, so I shouldn't have cut that quite so close, but my Mod Podge is not wanting to let me fray the edges there. Whew, Mod Podge on my fingers everywhere. Oh, rats. You guys know what I did? Since that was still wet, I stuck my finger on that and pulled it. That's okay. We'll doctor it up later. I want to stick this on to the front of this. I'm probably just going to tie it on for right now because it still needs to dry. I just want to speed this along so you guys can see what it looks like before we're off here today. Now, I'm just going to tie this in a real loose bow for a second because I don't know if it's going to stay that way. Now, I want to fill the bottom of this, obviously this little pouch, up with some kind of filler. So a little polyfiber or something filling up the bottom of this. So let's just stick some of these scraps in here for a minute. Oop, I'm sorry, I probably hit my microphone. Hopefully I didn't do too loud of a noise when I did that, sorry. Stuff this in there. I need more filler. I just totally forgot to bring my filler to the table today. I want this bag to kind of pucker, but I don't want it to pucker too much. And of course, this little sunflower, when it dries, we will glue that down onto the bag, okay? Now, this is where your little sunflowers are gonna come in. And I have some green moss, but I think this is too bright. I don't know where my little Spanish moss is. All right, so I was gonna tuck some Spanish moss in here at the top, okay? Have like 3-4 of these cute little sunflowers on twigs that I forgot. So let's imagine that this is a little branch, okay? And this is the little twig that this little sunflower's on right here. You know what? Improvise for just a second. I'm gonna put a little hot glue on here on the back of my middle piece here, so you guys get the idea. And I'll replace it with a branch later. And really, it doesn't really matter. You could put it on a pop stick if it's the right height. And you're gonna fill this with Spanish moss, okay? And then tuck these little sunflowers in with the moss kind of draping out, okay? And is that not gonna be so cute? Once you get that tapered down, once it's dry, okay? The light's wanting to glare off of that. It's not really that shiny, but that light is really, goodness, the light is really making that look really weird. Okay, so once that dries, tuck some Spanish moss in there, make you like a little bouquet. I would think 3 flowers would be perfect, but you can make them different sizes. You can make 1 big one and 2 small ones and tuck those in with the Spanish moss and fill that little area up. And that would be cute. And so look, here's what you can do with this. Here's my thinking. Once I get this finished, I may have made this too big for my tobacco basket. I think I did. So take a tobacco basket, if it's tall enough. There we go. And layer that in, just like that. Would that not be cute? And I'm holding it sideways. So I'm back here. So just tuck those sunflowers in. You could add some greenery around the little garden gate there and really kind of dress it up. But yeah, tuck that in there and that would look really cute once you get it tucked in with them flowers and your filler, okay? All right, well, hopefully this was a good idea. Hopefully you enjoyed it today. And even though it was long, we didn't quite get it all finished, but I think you've got the idea of where you can go with it. There's lots of different ways you can go with it. And then even after fall, you could take your sunflowers out and change it up, put some pumpkins in there. How cute would that be? Or maybe for winter, tuck some pine in there. That would look so cute. Some pine and some berries. Love it. Yay. Good. Well, listen, I will finish this up at some point over the next few days, and I'll share a photo with you guys so that you can see it all finished and see how it turned out at the end. So you all have a great weekend. Thanks for hopping on with me today. We had a good little craft today. So you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon.